here I am. My name is Ken, and I want to talk a little bit about happiness today. Recently, I was watching a Dennis Prager fireside chat, and Dennis has a lot of good ideas. I like to watch his programs. And he talked about happiness in this one, and he said, if you haven't seen my video on the Prager University video on happiness, you should check it out. So I did. And happiness as a moral obligation, he said. So I thought, happiness is a moral obligation. Wow, those are strong words. Actually, it didn't sit right with me for a little while. I had recently been reading Murray Bowen, and Murray Bowen is a family therapist that has developed many of the theories that are currently used in family therapy, and he's an amazing man. So he was saying that happiness as a life goal is unattainable, and he recommends that his clients actually pursue more meaningful goals. That I think what he's trying to say is goals that are outside of themselves, like possibly a career or something that's not about themselves. So anyway, I did some more reading of what Dennis Prager was saying, and one of the things that he points out is that he's not talking about happiness as what he calls hedonism, or really that's kind of the idea of ancient cultures where pagans, people who worship false gods, would give themselves over to drunkenness or idolatry or sex and adulterous relationships and that kind of thing. He points out that that's not what he's talking about. So happiness, what is happiness? Happiness basically is being content, being happy with one's own life. It's a state of well-being. It's a state of mind where you're okay, you're content with yourself. The Bible refers to the idea of being blessed, that we have things in life that we should consider ourselves blessed. So I think everybody can look at something that they have and say, I'm thankful that I have, for example, friends, or I have a roof over my head, I have food to eat. I know with the coronavirus, there's a lot of things that we're grieving the loss of, that we're really sad to not have. And there's a tendency to think about those things, that maybe it's a job that's been lost, whatever it is. Understand that that's hard, that that's difficult, but we can still consider ourselves blessed for the other things that we have. So I understand some people might be saying, sounds like you're talking about joy. And I guess, yeah, because joy is this idea of being happy regardless of what your position, your status in life is, what you have or you don't have. Maybe the weather is rainy, you can still be joyful. So yes, I am talking about something that can be consistent, not just fleeting with circumstance. And I think that is something that we all need to be able to strive towards. We can't just be stuck with the whims of the weather or whatever our situation is in life. We want to have our happiness be grounded on something more than that. We need to be able to be happy for those around us. Dennis goes on to say that you owe it to those around you to be happy. So if we're not happy, it's kind of like we end up inflicting our unhappiness upon those people.
Ask anybody who was raised by an unhappy parent whether or not happiness is a moral issue, and I assure you the answer will be yes. It is no fun being raised by an unhappy parent. or being married to an unhappy person, or being the parent of an unhappy child, or working with an unhappy coworker. Our happiness affects others profoundly. That's why happiness is a moral obligation. We are morally obligated to at least act as happy as possible, even if we don't feel happy. People can't be guided by feelings because it is how we act that affects others, not how we feel.
He gives the example of a person maybe not taking a shower or not wearing deodorant. In our society today, we think that it is offensive to not take a shower, to not wear deodorant, that we will offend another person and that they'll walk away from us maybe if we don't smell right, if we don't take a shower, if we don't wear deodorant. He's basically saying, well, it should be the same with happiness. If you're not happy, people should have the same kind of response, that they might walk away or be offended because you're complaining or you're not happy about whatever it is that's happening in life. And I thought that was interesting. Yeah. So we really do have a powerful influence on the people around us, that if we're happy, we can bless them with that happiness. We can maybe let that rub off on our friends and give them a more enjoyable time or moment in their day as they interact with us. But if we're unhappy, well, we maybe take away from the good that was in their day or could have been in their day. So, yeah, Dennis is talking about happiness that is others directed. At the same time, I think he's not saying that pleasure and enjoyment are wrong, but I think both he and Murray Bowen would agree or would see that pleasure and enjoyment should come more as a byproduct of a life well lived. They shouldn't be the sole pursuit of our life. If they are, we're going to have a tendency to really struggle, because there are things in life that are just not going to go well. It's not going to be happy. The circumstances are not going to be happy. So if we have the source of our joy, the source of our happiness focused on something larger than ourselves, then we're going to have a whole lot easier time in being happy and enjoying our life. As a Christian, I believe that that source, that thing that I can draw my joy and my happiness from is God. And I think that there's a lot of resources available for people who believe that. At the same time, it's okay not to believe that. But I think ultimately what I'm trying to point out in this video is that we owe it to other people to be happy. And if we will be happy, we might just find ourselves enjoying our life more. So I hope that you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. See you next time.